Hi everyone, I've got a Generation 6 Wi-Fi battle against my buddy Eric. If you look at the team preview, he's got a few things that I've not necessarily seen before. He's got an Avalug. He's also got a clef key. So I figure he's either going to lead off with either his clef key or he's going to lead off with Galvantula to try to get those entry hazards up. So, knowing this, I decided to lead off with my Volcarona. If he leads out with the Galvantula, I'm pretty much free to quiver dance and do whatever else I want to do. He leads up with his clef key, and I go straight for the fire move here. I don't want him like T-waving me and then setting up his hazards, or setting up his hazards and T-waving me. I go straight to the fire dance. If he did go for the spikes, I'd be able to knock him out and really negate what that guy does. He switches straight into his Vaporeon. At this point, I wasn't really sure what set this was. The Fire Dance did very little, so I'm thinking he has some special defense investment. So I switched out to my Tyranitar here. I figure I want to get my rocks up pretty early on. Sandstream's not bad, and actually eat this Scald up pretty nicely. After the leftovers, it only does about 10%, so really not bad on my part. Seeing how very little damage that did, I decided to go for the T-Wave here. I expect him to sort of switch out because he can't really do much to me. I expect him to go to Kangaskhan, but he actually goes into his Avalug. Avalug is a Pokemon that I really haven't seen too much of, and so I was thinking, I'll just Stealth Rock, see what it does. He goes for the Earthquake, and it does about 60%, even though I've got max HP. So at this point, I don't want my Tyranitar to die just yet. It walls off the special Pokemon on this team pretty easily. So I switch out to my my Excadrill here. It floats on the air balloon, so I can dodge an Earthquake if need be. It doesn't matter when you get the paralysis hacks, anyways. So go for the Rock Slide here. It does a lot less than I was expecting it to. I was also expecting either a flinch or a paralysis, get that going for me. It doesn't do anything. He actually has the Rapid Spin on this guy, so it's kind of a bad turn for me. He breaks my balloon, clears my rocks away, and I don't get a flinch or a paralysis. At this point I go for another Rock Slide, thinking like, hey, I'll do it again. Doesn't do it, and he recovers it off. At this point I know I can't wear this thing down, so I figure I'll try to get a flinch off, force him to recover again, and then switch out to my Kangaskhan that I can set up on. So I switch to my Kangaskhan, and I do correctly predict what he's going to do. He recovers off, and so at this point he actually switches out to his Clef Key. I'm not sure that was the best idea at this point. Like, looking back, it was an okay decision. But now it's probably not that great. So I power up Punch here. Because of that Parental Bond, I do get the +2 attack bonus, which doubles my attack. Here he goes for the Reflect. Klefki has that Prankster ability, which gives all of his special abilities, non-attacking abilities, a boost, or a +1 priority. So go for the Earthquake. Easily takes him out with the Parental Bond. Here he switches out to his Kangaskhan, and at this point we're really sort of in the same boat. I have +2, but he has Reflect, so we're going to be doing marginally the same damage to one another. So we both go for the return. Even without that attack boost, his brings me down to a good 20%, and mine brings him down to 20%. So I go for the Sucker Punch here. It's either I was faster than him, or I won the speed tie twice, or he didn't have a Sucker Punch on the guy, or he didn't have a priority move. He goes up for the Galvantula here. I could have switched, but I figured Kangaskhan, he did a good job. He lost his Kangaskhan, so from here, I'm okay. Easily takes me out that extra, the 20% left in my HP with the Bud Buzz. I go for my Volcarona, and he Volt Switches, and this actually does quite a bit more damage than I was expecting. It does about 45%. I go for the Quiver Dance here, sort of expecting him to switch, or expecting him to use, any other ability, which would have been fine. So I don't really feel like switching out, and I figure I can take a couple hits. So I go for the Bug Buzz, and it does about 75% of his health. I mean, really good damage. He goes for the Scald, and it does about 30%. At this point, I figure, I can easily take him out and, damage that Goodra somewhat, switch to my my Garchomp. I go for the Bug Buzz, and it actually does, it does a pretty good amount. So even if Goodra having that, massive special defense, having Survival Vest, which I suspect he has, it still does about 33%. So I go for another Bug Buzz. This is what really surprised me. He goes for the Dragon Pulse, and it doesn't knock out. It actually brings me down to 3 HP. So farming out those extra leftovers really made a difference here. I'm sure you could argue that, a Citrus Berry would do about the same, but... So go for the Bug Buzz, knock him out. He really doesn't have anything else here. I mean, I have the Quiver Dance up, so I'm faster than his Galvantula now. And he really only has, Avalugg and Vaporeon left. So I knock out the Galvantula, and he switches into his Vaporeon here, and from here he basically can't do anything else. So he ends up running. So that's the battle, guys. I hope you enjoyed it. So stay tuned for new videos in the next couple days.